Hi everybody, this is Chad, the Gaming Dad, here again on Dad's Games with another episode of Fun or Run. The review show where we take a quick look at a game and let you know whether it is fun or if you should run. The game in question today is Has Been Heroes. This is actually my first Switch review. I'm playing Has Been Heroes on the Nintendo Switch. So Has Been Heroes, I would call this an action strategy roguelike game. You utilize all the skills that you can with 3 heroes against an army of undead enemies. This game's made by Frozen Byte. Their most notable games of the past have been the Trine series. And this game is published by Game Trust, which is basically GameStop's publishing. So yeah, this is being published by GameStop, which makes me a little bit skeptical because of their awesome business practices that they do all the rest of the time. And honestly, I did not play Song of the Deep, which was the other game that I can think of that they published. But hey, that's who's publishing it. Let's take a look anyway. I am playing this on the Nintendo Switch, but it's out on everything. It's on the PC, the Xbox One, the PS4, and of course the Switch. And this game's been getting some mixed reviews. I checked on Metacritic, and it's actually got low 60s and even in the 50s for the Switch version. But the tale of the tape, basically, is that the review scores from the users are much higher. So anyway, let's get into it here. There's kind of a jokey story about some heroes that were apparently awesome once upon a time, and now they are has-beens. Ha ha ha, funny, right? They've been given one more great duty, and their duty now that they must fulfill is to escort the twin princesses to school. Haha, again. Boy, these guys are real cut-ups with their story. So let's forget about the story. It's quite forgettable. And remember that many classics from the past, like Tetris, they don't need a story. No one had to tell us why the blocks were falling. They just were and you played it. And I bring up Tetris because ultimately this game, Has Been Heroes, is a puzzle game. It's very difficult, and sometimes a complex puzzle game, but a puzzle game nonetheless. So here's how it works. There's 3 different categories of hero. You start with a rogue, a monk, and a warrior. They each have their own special spell that they can cast, and they each have their own unique abilities. The main difference between them is their hits and stamina. So when you look at the character, you'll see down below it says ×1, ×2, ×3. That's how many times they will strike per turn. And then you look and you'll see a little green box. They each have different numbers of green boxes. Well, 2 of them have 1, and then the warrior has 2. That's what they call stamina. I think the stamina should really have been called shield or something to make it a little bit clearer about how it works, but it's the same for each hero. Each stamina block takes 1 hit from one of the enemies before it gets into their actual life bar, their HP bar. And you can recover your stamina blocks by going through a stamina camp, which is one of the randomly located crossroads that you choose as you navigate through the map. And so that's the real short version. The other real important thing here is that the game pauses. Every time you take a turn, it automatically pauses, but you can then also unpause it or pause the action yourself anytime you want to plan out the perfect attack. Without the pause, this game would be impossible. But yes, since you can pause, look at the guys if you need to take a little bit of time and figure out your strategy, align your heroes in the right place, and then strike with efficiency. The enemies also have hits and stamina blocks. And so that's where the real depth comes in, and that's where the puzzle aspect of it comes in. So as you begin to attack, each of your heroes' melee recharges. That's the green circle that you see there. When it's green, that means you can go ahead and strike. After you strike, it has a cooldown. Each one has different speeds, and you can get different items that will change how fast that cooldown goes, or how quickly you can recharge your next strike. You also have spells that can either buff your own heroes or actually damage the enemies or debuff the enemies. Things like water spells that will make an enemy soaked so that they walk a little slower and regenerate a little slower. Things like that. That's the strategy. There's so much to it and so much to learn This game's absolutely hard, but it's really cool. And I'm really having a good time with it, but man, do you just have to grind over and over and over again to really get it. There's almost no tutorial, but pay attention to the one key feature of this game, and that is combos. When you first start up each run, because again, this is a roguelike, the maps are generated randomly. Every time when you start it up, it shows you this little quick tutorial where it shows you how, if you have a guy that has, say, 3 strikes, and you go up against a guy that only has 2 stamina, 1, 2 go through the stamina, the third one hits him, but he only falls back a little bit. Whereas if you used the other guy that strikes twice, 1, 2, then switch to maybe the warrior that has the big strike, that only hits once, smack them, they go a lot farther and it hurts them a lot worse. So that's really the only way that you can win this game is by using combos. Even if you're using the same guy over and over again, and getting into the HP bar of the enemies, you're never going to do enough damage quick enough to last. You got to use your combos, and that's really where it's at with this game, is learning how to combo and learning how to combo effectively. And sometimes you'll switch between all 3 characters to get through someone's stamina bar and then land the really big strike. And then after you hit the strike, the guy falls down, you throw one of your spells on him to just finish him off or do a little bit more damage. It gets kind of intense because as you're focusing on one particular guy, the rest of the army of undead are coming after you. So that all is basically the fun gameplay loop that they present to you in Has Been Heroes. And it is addictive as hell, especially when you get past the first couple of battles and you start to get it, and then you get killed. You know it's because it's your fault, because you just didn't manage your guys well enough, and you just didn't maximize what kind of damage output you could do by using your combos, and you get that one more time. Let's just go one more time. One more time. That's why I like this game so much on the Switch, because this is the kind of game that I will start playing in the evening, and I'll play for a while, and then I feel like going and laying down. It's about time to go to sleep, but I'm not quite tired yet. Take the Switch with you, lay in bed. There has been many a night where I lay down and I plan on playing this thing for another, I don't know, 2 or 3 runs, and the next thing you know, it's like 3 hours later. It's crazy. By far, the most time that I've spent playing any game I have on the Switch so far has been Heroes.
Epic kill!
So all the battles, and even the boss battles, they all play out this way. It's just a different set of enemies and a different pattern of waves of enemies coming at you, basically, is what changes. The bosses are not randomly generated, at least the end boss. The first time you go through this, you have to make your way through one map, and then you get an end boss, and then you have to go through a second map, and then you get the water ghoul. The water ghoul is this great big water pirate guy that sends fountains at you and stuff, so he's the final boss. After you beat him, a whole bunch of stuff unlocks. Tons of items, tons of spells, and you even get another character to choose from. You have to pick 3, but you get another character to choose from. There are some that unlock in each category of hero. So far, I'm about 1 in 60 as far as runs go. I beat the water ghoul once. Took me a ton of tries to beat him, and then since then I have not been able to beat the final boss again, because after you beat him the first time, and it only takes you 2 maps, after that it goes to 3 maps. And then if you beat that guy, then it goes to 4 maps. If you beat that guy, 5 maps. And I think 5 or 6 maps is about the top end of this thing, but obviously I'm not there yet. I don't know 100%. But that's how this game goes. The more you get better, the longer the game becomes, and you have to rely on your skills as well as getting lucky with what things you pick up along the way. That's where the map comes in. You see, there's a bunch of different crossroads in the map. Some of them are empty. There's nothing. You just walk right past. Some of them are battles, and some of them are spell vendors, where you have to use some of the gold coins that you get from winning the battles to basically roll. It's all random numbers, right? RNG. There's a certain type of thing, and you tell them, yes, I'll buy one of your spells, and it rolls around and around, and a spell pops out, and that's what you get. So you have to kind of get lucky and use what you acquire on the way to the bosses. So there's a couple different strategies. You may just want to hurry up and get to the boss, but at the same time, other people say you want to try to weave your way around the map as much as you possibly can so that you hit all the different crossroads to pick up as many different items and spells that you can. Either way, you want to get as much stuff as you can to power up your guys. Progressing through the maps is entirely up to you. You can pick which way you want to go. However, you'll only get to go one direction. If you want to backtrack onto any spot on the map that you've already been on, you have to use a candle. The candle is an item that you get along the way that each time you backtrack, you spend one candle. And that forces you forward every time, forward more and forward more toward the boss of each map. So that's pretty much how you play this game, and this is what it has to offer. If you like puzzle games and you like difficult games, then this is going to be right up your alley. But I can totally see where some people would give this a bad review, because you really wind up doing the same run over and over and over again for hours on end when you first start in order to beat the water ghoul the first time. And then after that, you unlock so many different things that you think, oh, this is going to be great. But you have to remember that only unlocks them to be a possibility of something that will come out of one of those vendors. You don't get that many more spells. There's just many more spells to pick from when it does its RNG to give you a spell. So yeah, it is pretty repetitive, and you do wind up doing the same thing a lot, and you do wind up dying a lot and starting over a lot. But even though that could be agony for some players, I got completely hooked, and especially after my one successful run, I feel like I could probably win the next one. And then if I don't make it, I feel like, I can win the next one. It always makes you feel like you can win the next one. So even though you die over and over again, there is one cool thing. Each time you die, all the souls of the enemies that you have killed along the way get added into like a crystal ball thing that has a number on it. And every time you reach that number, it unlocks 2 more things. You know, when you beat the water ghoul the first time, you get 80 things to unlock. But if you don't make it, at least you are making some progress, and they do open up 2 different things. Combination of items and spells just kind of unlocks things to keep it so that there's something different that could potentially pop up. But that's the real long way around. This game has a ton of items and a ton of spells to unlock. Hundreds of things, tons and tons of stuff to do. So again, like I said, I was playing this on the Switch, and I'm really surprised that it has been scored lower on Switch, because the graphics look fine. I don't have a problem at all with the graphics on the Switch, and it's not demanding on the hardware or anything, so I can't imagine that the PlayStation or Xbox or even the PC version looks really any different than what you're playing on the Switch. The best thing I like about it is the handheld mode, because this is a game where, I don't know, for me it just feels better in handheld than it does on a TV, but that's just me. Like I said, it's perfect for when you just have a few minutes to play, but it also can suck you in where you will keep playing it for hours. And the other thing that's cool about it is only $20. So for $20, you could do a whole lot worse. You're going to get a lot of hours of playtime and a lot of fun with this game for only $20. It's perfectly priced, in my opinion. This thing's become a game that I'm not only addicted to, attempting runs over and over again, but something that I actually enjoy as just a great way to relax. Lay on the couch or lay in bed with the Switch in handheld mode. I think it's great. The game is super tough, but once you get the mechanic of switching and maximizing your combo to eliminate enemies, it's really satisfying. It has a real great punch, and the sound is nice when you crunch through the bones of these bad guys. It's really satisfying. The game is set up so that it constantly drips more unlocks, new heroes, things that make you feel like you did something at the end of each run. And the game basically evolves with your skill as you play, because you're unlocking more things that you could potentially use. I'm telling you, I really think $20 was a steal for this. I already got my money's worth, and I barely scratched the surface. I know for a fact that I'm going to continue to jump into this game over and over again. So till next time, remember, you never outgrow video games. My name's Chad the Gaming Dad, and this is Dad's Games. Thank you for watching, and as for Has-Been Heroes, I am going to say, definitely, for me, this thing is fun. Thanks again for watching. If you liked that video, please press like and subscribe. I love hearing from you guys, so leave your comments and any suggestions down below. Remember, there's tons of other gamers out there just like you and me, and they also know that you never outgrow video games. Feel free to share these videos all over social media, Twitter, Facebook, or whatever you use. This channel is for all of us. Let's make sure they know that they are not alone. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.